Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Phi and this is Money Philosophy. Thank you for coming back for another day of Tesla analysis. Today we have a lot to talk about. As you know, Tesla just announced its delivery result for Q4 of 2021 and Tesla did deliver over 308,000 vehicles for their quarter, smashing Wall Street's expectation. So what will Tesla's stock do in the short term and long term based on this information? And what can you do to leverage the volatility of this stock in the coming days are the main topics of today's video. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I am a growth stock investor and a trader, and I'd love to share with you my investing and trading journeys. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Tesla's Q4 delivery number not only beat Wall Street expectation, but also exceeded many projections by the Tesla community, particularly those that are known to be Tesla bulls with credible research such as Rob Maurer or Gary Plack. This is not to say that these guys did not do a good job estimating. This is to say that there is a major surprise factor in this quarter delivery number and may translate into the stock price reaction tomorrow, or at least in the short term. If you look at Tesla quarter over quarter delivery, this is a handsome looking chart. Now, granted, Tesla does not report the number of vehicles delivered per model, but Hyperchart is trying its best to break down the number of units based on the model here. And you can see that the allocation is probably somewhat reasonable, although not exact science. Model Y is shown here to have 156,000 vehicles delivered in Q4, already surpassing its brothers and sisters of Model S, X, and 3. And also Model Y is projected to be the best-selling vehicle of any kind. So based on this chart, it is evident to me that it is only the beginning of Tesla at this point. So let's take a quick look back in Tesla's recent history. Tesla was able to turn profit starting Q3 of 2019 and consistently have profit since then. It was also added to the S&P 500 in December of 2020. It achieved volume production of Model 3 and Model Y over the last few years and consistently increases profit quarter over quarter while expanding its manufacturing capacity from one plant in 2019 to 4 plants in 2022. Granted, Berlin and Austin still need to ramp, but given what Tesla has been able to achieve at Fremont and Shanghai, I don't see any issue with ramping in Berlin and Austin. So if you look at Tesla, this is a company that has been advancing on multiple fronts. On the manufacturing fronts, Tesla has been able to not only scale production, but doing so at a profit and simultaneously expand its capacity across different continents. Despite the world's supply chain issues, Tesla continues to beat its own record quarter after quarter and on its way to deliver over 1.5 million EVs next year. On the marketing and sales front, Tesla's brand name is now recognized among many consumers and even businesses, evident in the deal with Hertz. It is no longer just a luxury EV. It is quite affordable to many people, especially those who understand the economics of owning an EV versus owning an internal combustion engine vehicle. On the financial front, Tesla has been increasing its net income once again quarter over quarter, same with cash flow. Meanwhile, Tesla also has been able to control operating expense really well, and so you can see that while vehicle delivery and top line revenue has consistently increased, operating expenses has been flat or only slightly increased. On the R&D front, Tesla has been working on FSD with multiple versions released and tested. I think we're at version 10.8 now. It has and will continue to work on 4680 batteries, casting technology to reduce manufacturing complications, all the while working on the Tesla bot that have the potential to subsidize the labor market in the future. I can go on and on, but the bottom line is that I continue to be excited at the prospect of Tesla taking over the internal combustion engine vehicles, which is now just a matter of when and not if. Imagine all gas stations will be converted into supercharging stations. All homes now have a charging outlet of their own, consumers now can spend more time on the road with their family and spend more time making business transactions instead of driving, thanks to AI and FSD. Our society will never be the same again, and Tesla is quintessential to all of these changes. Back to reality. What do we think Tesla stock price will do tomorrow? For those of you who are investors in the company, I know you guys are long-term investors and you don't care about the short-term price action, and neither do I. However, if you are also a trader in addition to being an investor and look to capitalize on the volatility of the market tomorrow, particularly based on this new piece of information, excellent piece of information, then I would look at a couple of scenarios. But before I go into the actual chart, let me kind of map out my thought on the various scenarios. The first three scenarios in my mind would be where Tesla gaps up in the morning. It is highly likely given the good news, right? So I'm going to go over these three gap up scenarios. The fourth scenario would be a flat opening, and the fifth scenario would be a gap down opening. So let me go through all five first before getting into detail of which scenario is probably more likely. So the first scenario here is gap up. Okay, so Tesla would, this black line here represent the close of the day before. This is just a model of what might happen tomorrow without any price detail in here. Tesla would open with a gap up, go to the moon, start retracing a little bit, going to the moon again, and then start dropping hard and then bouncing and dropping all the way until the end of the day, where Tesla would fill the gap at some point during the day. And this might not be the actual reflection, right? Because Tesla could bounce hard and then drop again. But what I'm trying to say here is that Tesla would have a gap up and at some point in the day would fill that gap and possibly go negative, even with the good news. The second scenario here is also similar to the first, where Tesla would gap up, go to the moon, and then drop really hard, almost filling the gap, and start bouncing and going back up. So this scenario here would be ideal. Tesla would still end the day in the green, but the price action would be extremely volatile within the first half an hour or even the first hour of the day, because it could rise really fast and then drop really hard. But then at the end of the day, it will still end up being green. The third scenario here is where Tesla will still gap up, retrace just a little bit, and still leave the substantial part of the gap unfilled, and then continue to rise for the remaining of the day. So this scenario is very bullish, but there is a little bit of a retracement. Usually that is the case for almost any stock. It has a little bit of a retracement before continuing further, but this retracement is very immaterial compared to the gap itself, right? To the point where it never filled the gap or never getting anywhere close to filling the gap. So here's scenario number 4, where Tesla would open flat. So virtually no opening gap here. Start retracing a little bit, go in the red a little bit, and start reversing and going back up. So this is more of a reversal type move. And that's where I think that it would be probably excellent opportunity for entry, both call options or shares for that matter. But once again, let me just go through these scenarios and then I'll go back and share with you what I think is the most likely. Last scenario here is scenario number 5, where Tesla would have a small gap down and then immediately reverse and go to the moon, obviously filling that gap, but also go all the way in the green for the end of the day. So this is, in my mind, would be the best case scenario, although it would not be the most likely scenario. If for whatever reason Tesla gaps down in the morning, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to buy. We are going to buy with every spare cent that we have, including shares and options. However, this is extremely unlikely given the excellent news that we have. So I'm not counting on this, but if it does happen, know that the only word that goes through your mind would be buy. So what is the similarities and differences between these three scenarios? The similarities is that they all gap up. And in my opinion, this is the most likely scenarios, meaning that Tesla would open the day with an opening gap up. how these play out depending on momentum. You can see the scenario on my left hand side here. Tesla would take its time going to the moon and then all of a sudden crash. This is probably about half an hour to an hour into the trading day before continue to go down and then fill the gap. The scenario on the right hand side here would happen really fast, where Tesla would go to the moon somewhat and immediately crash. So this could happen within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the day. And with the scenario in the middle here, it doesn't matter when it happens. The overall idea is that it would be moving sideways a little bit, retracing a little bit, and then resuming bullish. So this scenario here is a bullish reversal. So Tesla started a little bit in the green with a gap up, but then crashed really hard and then reversed to the upside. The scenario on this side here is a bearish reversal, whereby Tesla would go to the moon within the first hour or so and then start reversing to the downside. The scenario in the middle is a bullish continuation, which means the Tesla gaps up and then continue to move up. Now, of these three scenarios, I think scenario on my left and scenario on my right are probably more likely. I think that Tesla would have some sort of a reversal tomorrow because of the volatility and the price action. And remember, Tesla is one of the favorite stocks for traders, which means that the stability in price action is not its strength. So it will have to do some sort of a reversal, whether bearish or bullish. Historically, Tesla has been doing a bearish reversal on the day of the news. So to be honest, I don't see that it will change its course tomorrow. The similar set of traders and buyers and sellers would be in the market on that day with a lot of money to short the stock the moment it spikes up, right? Now, I'm not talking about subsequent days. I'm just talking about tomorrow morning. The second probability would be this bullish reversal here after the sellers are flushed out. A bunch of buyers will start coming in. Quality institutional investors will start coming in, and that would make the scenario happen as bullish reversal here. So obviously, I don't have the crystal ball, or I would not be here. I would assign probability into this scenario on my left here or this scenario on my right here. So here's the daily chart for Tesla. Let me remind you that I have my daily bull flag that is now showing the first price target of 1209 and a second price target of 1305 with the previous all-time high of 1243. So it is very much in line with the shocking delivery number that we just saw, right? So over the long run, or medium to long run, we should see Tesla surpass its previous all-time high and make a brand new all-time high. I don't know when exactly that will happen, but it will just be a matter of time. It could be a matter of days, but it could also be a matter of weeks, depending on the price action tomorrow and next week. So look at this daily chart here. Let me zoom in a little bit here. The price action on Friday is a little bearish. So Tesla started running up since December 21st. And then for 4 consecutive days, it ran all the way up to about 11:15. And then start retracing a little bit. It is now sitting on 50 days SMA, which is right around 1060. So it is about $4 below 50 days SMA. The volume on Friday and a few days before that was also very low. They're all below 100%, but I think that was the overall condition of the market, be it between the two major holidays. So with this in mind, if Tesla gaps up tomorrow, let's say it would be right around 1067, 1070, it could easily retrace back to 1060, which is the 50 days SMA here before reversing to the upside, or it could also lose 50 days SMA and in the subsequent days proceeded to retest 1032, which is the low end of my bull flag before continue to run up. I do think that aside from tomorrow's price action, is really predict Tesla for the rest of the week. So I'm going to refrain from doing that. I'm going to wait for an opportunity at the end of the day tomorrow in order to determine whether there is a trading opportunity for Tesla call options going into the next couple of weeks. But for the price action tomorrow, let's take a look at the hourly chart. So given the hourly chart for the last few days, Tesla consistently making a lower low and a higher low. So it is possible that Tesla would bounce all the way to about 1073 tomorrow and then continue to move down. First stop would be 1060 and possibly reaching the bottom pivot point of 1037. If it does happen to touch 1037, that would be my opportunity to enter a call option, possibly a few months out, to participate into the subsequent run. I would even wait for Tesla to fall slightly below 1032 in order to enter that call option. But if Tesla hover around 1060 tomorrow, which is probably highly unlikely given the volatility, then I would not do anything. If anything, if Tesla goes to the moon and proceeded to go up to, let's say, 1094 or 1100 in the morning, within the first hour of the morning, I might even short Tesla by buying a put and bring it all the way down to 50 days SMA, which is at 1060. So my probability assignment is still going into selling the news, which is a big jump in the morning, first thing in the morning, and then start retracing, regardless how good the news and how surprised and shocking the news is, right? That's just how Tesla stock pattern plays out to me. It has zero rhyme or reason with reality or fundamental. It's just a matter of traders taking profits in my mind. So that is what I'm thinking for short-term trading for Tesla. If Tesla ever gets down to the 1030s area, that's where I would take a call option, because I do believe that the market could take a couple of days to process the news and then it starts spiking up like there's no tomorrow. It might even have more, and it might even have potential for a short squeeze, which could get to a vigorous run up back to all-time high and potentially hit my price target number 2, which is 1305. So this is it for this video. Thank you very much for paying attention thus far. If you have any questions or comment, leave me a comment down below and I'll try my best to reply. I do have my Patreon page linked down below. I will have more update on my thoughts and analysis based on the pre-market price action tomorrow. So check that out as well. But thank you very much for all of your support, and until the next video, bye.